What's going on, everybody, and welcome to episode 67 of the Game Room Podcast. A very exciting episode. I'm your host, Rome. Here with me,
Dev.
And Dev, how you doing?
Doing all right?
Oh, man. Well, E3 week is here. It's still E3 to me.
Yeah.
I'll never not call it E3. I mean, you got Charmander just laying. He's passed out over there.
Yeah, he's
tired. But no, we got a great show coming up here. We're going to be talking mainly about the Xbox Showcase. PlayStation had a State of Play last week. The Nintendo Ninjas know who to go after. And more. Because like I said, this is the Game Room Podcast. We sit around, talk about the video game news from the past week, get you ready for the upcoming week so you're all up to date and in the know. Let's dive into number one on the headlines, our topic of the show. Now it's worded in the title as predictions, and I think there will be some predictions here, but it's a Xbox Showcase prediction slash preview. Obviously, we're going to be here live on Sunday, live streaming the Xbox Showcase, giving our reactions and thoughts on the show. But being a week out, I figured let's sit down, let's kind of touch base and look at what each studio in the Xbox portfolio, including Bethesda and Activision, what they're working on, and let's try to make sense of what we might see at E3. Mm-hmm. So let's dive right in with the Xbox game studios in terms of like their internal non-Bethesda Activision studios. Just going down the list, let's start with 343. Obviously, Halo. We know they're working on future Halo projects. What are the odds you think we see something from 343 here with Halo on Sunday?
Low, maybe something for Infinite, Halo Infinite, but I don't think we'll see anything for the next game. I hope we don't. Anyway, if I'm being honest, I think it needs time. I hope they sit on that for however long they need to.
Yeah, no, actually, I completely agree. I know starting off with kind of a boring one, but they're right now they're cooking the future of Halo, so let them cook. Yeah. They have plenty of other things right now that can do the heavy lifting, the leg work, and
I agree.
When it's time,
yeah,
it'll happen. But you know what it is time for? Number 2, the Coalition. Now, Dev, it is one of the few badly kept secrets that we know about going into this showcase. We will be getting the announcement and reveal of Gears of War 6. Gears of War, longstanding, one of my favorite franchises ever in video games. I love Gears of War. Been rocking it since Gears 1 on the 360. Obviously, last year we went and we played all the Gears games, so
yeah.
You're all caught up now.
Yeah, I'm caught
up. How excited are you for Gears 6?
I'm excited. I'm excited to see it. I feel invested at this now, so.
Which is good, yeah.
Yeah.
I can't wait to see what the Coalition is doing with Unreal Engine 5. I'm so excited in a nervous way, not in a way where I think it's gonna be bad, but I'm just I'm anticipating it so strongly.
Yeah.
I think the Coalition is one of, if not Xbox's best developer. I stand by that.
I think it is,
especially in house. Like if you're talking about Obsidian is a close second.
Yeah.
But it's the Coalition and Obsidian and
one and
Exile. And Exile is really good too. But man,
we have the consistency with the Coalition.
Yeah,
I think.
Yeah, since they've taken over the Gears franchise from Epic back after Gears Judgment, people can fly made Judgment, but since Gears 4 has been excellent. Gears 5 was excellent. Gears Tactics excellent. They haven't missed in my opinion. And so yeah, I'm very excited to see Gears 6 shown off at the showcase. I also would add in that I don't think we see Gears 6 this year, but I do think we see a Gears collection. I think we finally get the Marcus Phoenix collection that a lot of the leakers and insiders have been talking about for a little while now.
Okay.
I think it makes a lot of sense.
It makes sense. I don't know if we see that, but I do agree that I don't think Gears is coming out this year.
Yeah, but I think we get that Marcus Phoenix collection this year. I think.
Okay.
I do think that.
You think we get Gears next year? 20 GTA 6? That's the name of the year.
20 GTA 6. That's a great question, and I'm not
maybe as a summer game next year.
See, I don't know. I think 2025 right now is pretty stacked for them. So maybe not. Maybe Gears 6 comes out 2026. That would be really easy marketing too. Gears 6 2026.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I mean, we'll see, but it's going to be really exciting to at least get an announcement and a reveal and start to get really, the hype train rolling on that.
How long has it been? When did Gears 5 come out? What year?
I think 2017, 2018. I'm going to look it up real quick. So we like to be accurate here on the Game Room podcast. Gears 5 release date was September 6th, 2019.
Okay.
So, we're 5 years out, since the last game, and
I think we see it next year. You think they drop a date? Well,
No, I don't think they drop a date here. I think that I think 2026 is the year we get it.
Okay.
So I think this year is a reveal. Next year is a more deep dive. Well, not a deep dive, but next year is a more a story trailer. 2026 is deep dive and the game itself.
Okay.
Moving right along, Compulsion Games with South of Midnight. This was a game that was revealed last year at the Xbox Showcase. Another game that I'm very excited for. honestly, I think Xbox has a pretty packed 2024 for the rest of the year, like the holiday season. So I don't know if we see South of Midnight this year. But I don't know. Do you think we see South of Midnight at the showcase at all?
I don't know. I don't know. Like you said, we saw it last year. If we do see it this year, it has to be coming out soon. I don't want to see a trailer for a game that's coming out, a year or 2 years away, especially for South of Midnight.
Mm-hmm.
It seemed, because we only got a cinematic trailer, I'm expecting not to see it, South of Midnight.
I think that's a safe bet. I
Maybe
would like
next
to.
year
though,
we get like
but-
we get a gameplay trailer or something, and the game comes out. But
Yeah, perhaps. Next up was Mojang. Do you think we get some sort of crazy Minecraft? Last year we got the Minecraft RTS strategy game. You think maybe Mojang's got something cooking for Minecraft, or maybe?
no, I don't think so. Nothing big anyway.
Okay. Maybe like an update for Minecraft. Or
Maybe
something.
the TV show.
Yeah, we do have a new.
Maybe a trailer. I know that's coming later on, but I'm just thinking.
Yeah.
We're seeing a lot of movies and TV shows more in these showcases. I think that's maybe something you show.
I'd rather them not, but I get it. Next up, Double Fine. So I don't really know. We don't know what Double Fine's working on right now. So I don't have anything to say. I don't know. They wrapped up Psychonauts 2 a couple years ago. And yeah, I don't know what they're working on. So until we have a good idea, I'm gonna say we don't see them at the showcase.
Okay.
But I mean, I don't know if we will.
It's
or
been
won't.
a while though. I would hope they're working on something, right?
You would think, but I don't know.
Yeah.
Next up is The Initiative with Perfect Dark. So I do think we see Perfect Dark on Sunday.
Man, I have no idea.
I think, they brought in Crystal Dynamics, and there was a lot of rumblings a couple weeks ago about it being in bad shape, but then, more rumblings came out defending it, that it was actually in good shape.
I don't believe that. I do think this is one of those games that's in development hell. I don't know. I mean, I guess I need to see it, that's all.
Yeah.
Do we see it this year?
I don't want to say that I think the game is currently in development hell.
It is.
Currently, though, they brought in Crystal Dynamics. It could be similar to what probably is going on with Metroid Prime 4, where it's like they've probably restarted a lot of the stuff that they've already done, and they're probably reworking on stuff. And I don't know. I'm willing to give, more so because of Crystal Dynamics, because Crystal Dynamics is a phenomenal developer. I'm willing to kind of right now, obviously, like you said, got to see the game. Give them a little bit of benefit of the doubt in terms of Crystal Dynamics. So, yeah, I do think we see it on Sunday, and I hope that it looks good, because conceptually and in terms of the franchise, I definitely want to play it, and I want it to be good. Mm-hmm. So, next up is In Exile, Clockwork Revolution. So this is another one kind of like South of Midnight, was shown off last year. Another title that I'm honestly very excited for. I don't know. I don't know if we see Clockwork Revolution. It's kind of in a similar boat as South of Midnight, where it might be too soon to see it. But
the only difference is we saw in-engine gameplay.
Stuff.
So
yeah.
There's a possibility that this is a little bit more cooked.
A little bit more further along.
Yeah.
That's fair. Yeah, so I think we could definitely, possibly see that. Next up is Ninja Theory. I realize I skipped around. My bad. Ninja Theory. So obviously Hellblade 2 just came out. They are working on Project Mara. The question could be, could we see Project Mara at the showcase? I'm going to go ahead and say no.
No, I don't think so either.
I don't think we're going to see Project Mara.
Yeah, just because of the release of Hellblade was so recent. That's all.
Maybe next year you see Project Mara, I think. Obsidian. Right now they're working on Avowed. I think we're definitely going to see Avowed. I think we're going to see a good chunk of Avowed. We're going to see some showcasing of it being, moved over to Unreal 5.
You think it's ready? Like you think?
Well, it's coming out this year.
Okay, you're right.
Yeah. So I not only are they going to show a lot of it, we're going to get a release date for it here at the showcase.
I agree with that.
Yeah, we're definitely going to get a release date for this one. I'm really excited for Avowed as well, especially with the move to Unreal 5. I mean, in my opinion, the biggest knock against the game was that it may not have been the best looking game.
Which I didn't like.
I didn't really agree with that take either, but I mean, like, if I were to criticize it at all, I mean, like, some people were saying that, including Ty, and so I could justify it, I think, a little bit, but I don't think it looks like a bad game necessarily. So getting it for Unreal 5, would not mind it. Or getting to see it, with Unreal 5. Playground Games is working on Fable. This is another one where, I think this one might be a little bit of a stretch, but I do think we see Fable here. Because at this point, I think it's been 2 years since we saw that first trailer. So I think it's time. And I do think that we're going to get Fable sooner than people are... Well, maybe not sooner. I think Fable is going to come out at the beginning of 2025. Like, that seems like a March game. I think March 2025 is where I think Fable's going to be coming out.
I think Fable is my most anticipated Xbox title coming out.
Yeah.
So I hope we do see it, but I don't know.
Yeah. And then next one, Rare. So, it's been years since we've seen Everwild.
Yeah, it's been 3 years.
More than 3 years, I think. I think it's been like 4. Like, I don't know what's going on. Like, that's a game where I think it's just in development hell. Luckily for Rare, Sea of Thieves is a big success, and that's keeping them afloat.
I wonder if that's part of it.
Keeping them afloat.
I wonder if the success of Sea of Thieves is maybe they're... I don't know.
It's definitely a possibility. Who knows? That might be what we see from Rare. But I do have a little bit of a prediction here.
For Rare?
For Rare.
Okay.
I think they're going to announce a Banjo-Kazooie game.
That'd be insane. That'd be awesome.
Would I bet money on it? No. But I think, I just feel like the time is right. I think you're looking at what Xbox has in its portfolio. And we were talking about it right before we went live. I think Xbox right now, on paper, has such a solid portfolio. The biggest thing that they're missing, in my opinion, is like a family-friendly mascot, really. Like, obviously they own the IP to Spyro and to Crash, but they're not really working with Toys for Bob openly right now. Well, more on that later, but I think right now what the Xbox upcoming pipeline, when you look at the games, like, they have some shooters, regardless of exclusivity. They have shooters. They have Call of Duty, Halo, Doom, Gears. Mm-hmm. They have, if you like Age of Empires, they have Western RPGs. Like, they've got a lot of different things going on right now. And they have, like, when I look at it, like, outside of, again, unfortunately Tango, they closed. And they don't have, like, really any Japanese or, Eastern development ties. But outside of that, it's like, you just need more family-friendly, platforming mascots.
I think if they don't show anything for Banjo now, I think there's going to be a push for that genre, especially after seeing Astro.
Yeah, which we'll talk about later.
Yeah. But seeing Astro and wow, this is going to be...
Yeah, you got Mario with Nintendo, you have Astro with PlayStation, and now PlayStation is pushing Astro. Like, this is the first major game for Astro Bot, full release, not a tech demo. So I think if you're Xbox, like, yes, you have Spyro, yes, you have Crash in your portfolio, but you have Banjo as well.
Yeah.
And you have Rare, who I think Sea of Thieves have shown that they are a competent developer. I don't know what's going on with Everwild, but I think it's time to give Banjo-Kazooie a chance.
I agree with that.
So I would like to see that. Next studio up is Turn 10. Really, it's just Forza. I think we might see a Forza Motorsport update, something like small.
I think maybe because Motorsport just came out, so I think we see maybe some
tracks or some
tracks.
Something small. But I think they'll have like a small appearance at the showcase. I feel like they're always putting something out for Forza. Undead Labs, State of Decay 3. I think this is a game that we absolutely see at the showcase.
I hope so. I think that's the most guarantee. I'd be very surprised if we don't see State of Decay 3.
I think we will. Jez Corden says that he's heard that the game is looking very good, very promising. And I do think that that's a home run lock. I think that you definitely see Undead Labs and you see State of Decay 3.
I think gameplay at this point.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
I'll even go one further. I wouldn't be surprised if we see maybe. I don't know. As we're walking down these releases and like what teams are working on, like the one game a quarter thing that Phil talked about, it seems realistic. It seems really realistic. I don't know if it'll work out, but we'll see. And then lastly, World's Edge, which is Age of Empires. They just put out the definitive editions last year for console, I think. I don't know if we hear from them at the showcase. I don't know. And then under Xbox Game Studios, games like Microsoft Flight Simulator and Towerborn, I think we see both of those games on Sunday as well.
You think so?
Microsoft Flight Simulator, definitely. Towerborn, like, they were showcased last year and the game hasn't come out yet, so I feel pretty confident that, yeah, we will.
Okay.
All right, so that's Xbox internal studios. Let's talk about Bethesda for a little bit. Let's start with Bethesda's, their main game studio, Bethesda Game Studio. The Starfield Shattered Space expansion is what they're working on right now. I think we absolutely, I think for me this is another lock. I think we definitely see Starfield at the showcase.
I think we see it in the form of expansion, like trailer.
I think we get an expansion trailer, and it's coming, and I think we'll get a date for it.
Yeah.
Or a window at least. Like, I think it'll be like, and it's coming September. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Stay tuned for more details, and then later down the line they do its own little preview thing for it.
I hope so.
And then here's another thing. So I thought about. So it's been kind of rumored that it's in the works, and obviously with the success of the Fallout TV show, Xbox is probably dying to put some Fallout stuff out there. What about that rumored Fallout 3 remake? I mean, it's been talked about. It was talked about last year. We reported on here on the podcast. I think that there's a real possibility that we could see like a Fallout 3 remake dropped.
Okay.
Maybe that might even be a shadow drop. I'll be like, and it's available today.
I prefer that over like a new game news because we know that game's.
It's way too far out. Yeah,
don't
don't announce a Fallout game unless it's coming out in the next 2 years.
Yeah.
I don't want to see it. It's like, hey guys, remember that hit Fallout show? You know what they'll probably do? They'll probably
for the TV show, like something like that.
It's too soon for that. They haven't. Even, I don't even think they're filming it yet.
Okay.
No, you know what they'll probably do? They'll show off the Fallout 3 remake, and then they'll be like, and we just want to let everyone know, the next Fallout, it's now in development. No, nothing. Just like Sarah Bond being like, in case you didn't know, we're making Fallout, but it's coming after Elder Scrolls, so you're gonna be waiting for a little while.
Yeah.
Next up is ZeniMax Online with Elder Scrolls Online. I'm sure we'll see them. They always bring some updates to the table for ESO, and I think this is going to be no different for them. Next up is id, which is another guarantee. Pretty much, we know that we're going to see the new Doom game get unveiled, Doom: The Dark Ages.
Yeah.
This is another one. Very excited for it. Can't wait to see it. Medieval Doom just sounds so right. So I'm here for it. I'm down. So next up, Arcane, with Blade. Do you think we see Blade at the showcase?
No, I think it's too early.
I agree, actually. I don't think we see Blade at the showcase either.
Yeah.
And then lastly for Bethesda, Machine Games, Indiana Jones: The Great Circle. This is another one. We're going to see a lot of it. And I think we're going to get a release date for this one as well here.
I actually don't want to see too much. Maybe like a story trailer and then a release date.
Oh, I think we're going to see gameplay. I don't think we're going to see a story trailer.
For Indiana Jones?
Yeah. I wouldn't be surprised if it's like a walkthrough for one of the levels or something like that.
Yeah.
I think that's kind of on par what I would expect. So that's another game though. Very excited for it. And then lastly, Activision / Blizzard. But let's start with Activision. So obviously we know we're going to see Call of Duty Black Ops 6. We're going to get a deep dive for that with the Call of Duty Black Ops Direct immediately following the Xbox showcase. So we already know that we're going to get, however much time they're giving us on that. So that's exciting. In terms of Blizzard, do you think we... so I'm going to throw some franchises out here. You tell me if you think we see them. Do you think we see any Diablo DLC? Or expansion stuff?
I could see that, yeah.
Okay. I think so as well. Maybe some Overwatch stuff?
Overwatch, no, I don't know. Overwatch has been staling out over the years. I don't think we see anything for that.
What about World of Warcraft? They could theoretically do something WoW related here.
Yeah.
If they wanted to.
I don't think we will, but that would be cool.
I would love to see like a WoW coming to Game Pass announcement.
Yeah.
I don't think it will, but it would be nice.
Yeah.
Speaking of Game Pass, my next question or speculation is they closed the deal back in October. By Sunday it'll have been like 8 or 9 months. Do you think Sunday is finally the day where the Activision Blizzard library comes to Game Pass? Because I would have to say, like, resoundingly like, yeah, I think it has to be the day it comes to Game Pass.
Yeah.
Because it's like, well, then what's the excuse? What are you waiting for? Then?
Yeah.
What's the excuse?
Even if you don't put all of it on Game Pass, maybe a few titles, 10 titles maybe.
See, I would just go all out. I could see them saying, like, here's the thing. I could see them when they show off Black Ops 6 and they say, hey, we have more to show later. Like, I could see them ending the Black Ops Direct with, like, hey, like, Black Ops 6 will be coming day one to Game Pass. In the meantime, until October, here is all of the Call of Duty backlog available on Game Pass today. Also, our other games in our Activision Blizzard portfolio are coming to Game Pass as well.
That'd be nice.
I think that's what they need to do. I mean,
that's a lot of games.
That's
a
again,
lot of great titles.
Yeah, but again, the question is like, well, then what are you waiting for? If you're not doing it now, 9 months later, like it's not going to get any easier in terms of release schedule. I mean, right now they're in a little bit of a lull, but like come the end of this year, they're going to have, assuming you're going to have the Starfield expansion, you're going to have Avowed, Indiana Jones. You know, there's things coming out at the end of this year. Apparently, Microsoft Flight Simulator is coming out this year still too. Like, I don't know, but like, I think there's so many things that like just like while you're in the summer lull, like, hey, June, July, August, we don't really have anything first party wise, but here's a bunch of games you can play on Game Pass over the summer.
I agree with you that they should. I think they're going to put games on Game. They're going to put that backlog on Game Pass. Mm-hmm. I don't think it's going to be all of it. I think it'll be a lot. I don't think it'll be all of it. It's a lot of titles, but we'll see.
I think it's going to be a large chunk of them, at least. Okay. And then last question before we get into a little bit of a headline about the Xbox Showcase. What about any third-party stuff? Do you think we see any third-party stuff? I'm going to make a prediction here. I think we see Hollow Knight Silk Song. And I think it gets a release date.
That'd be huge for the fans. That's a huge game, huge fan base.
Yeah.
You think Game Pass?
I don't know about Game Pass. No, maybe. That would be a big Game Pass deal.
Yeah, that would be.
But I don't know. All right, let's get into a few quick headlines real quick. Some rumors that it may, making their way around this afternoon. Xbox Era is saying that sharing a rumor that Xbox could shadow drop a game and tease their new portable at the showcase. A new video from noted Xbox leaker Extus1S, I don't know if that's a lead or not, has claimed Xbox is set to shadow drop a game and tease an Xbox portable console at this weekend's showcase. In a Reddit post by user SkyOld5788, he translated the video posted in which he says that he can confirm that one of the Xbox first-party titles everyone expects to see, like Flight Simulator, Avowed, Diablo DLC, Starfield DLC, or Towerborn, something like that, will be shadow dropped at the event. I think Towerborn could fit that role. While he knows which one it is, he's not revealing it. Xbox Era also guesses Towerborn, though. Xbox will also make a teaser about the new Xbox Portable on the showcase that confirms its existence to the general public. On those titles listed, the Reddit thread's participants surmise that Towerborn makes the most sense. The Xbox Portable has long been rumored as potentially ARM-powered device. Xdis1 has recently leaked things such as the Lords of the Fallen coming to Game Pass, which now it has, as well as a potential digital Xbox Series X. So this is a really cool rumor that really kind of shakes up the Xbox Direct. Or Xbox Showcase. Now I know we've talked about you're more of the portable handheld gamer. Like,
yeah.
Are you excited to see this Xbox handheld in action at all, or shown off, or?
Not excited, but curious.
Okay.
I need to see it. Like I said before, it's in a weird spot where it's at right now, so I just need to see it, see how it works, and I want to be excited for it. So we'll see.
Okay.
I'm curious about what they do with it.
And in terms of the shadow drop, do you think that would be like a Towerborn, or?
Mm-hmm.
I think Towerborn makes the most sense for
that.
It was shown off last year. It looked really well along. So, they could have been like, hey, we're just going to hold on to this. Cool. And then the other thing about the Xbox Showcase, not so much the showcase, but following the showcase, is the week after, Xbox will be delivering deep dives on all of their upcoming games, post-showcase. Xbox put out their How to Watch the Showcase blog post on the Xbox Wire and included a bit of new info about deep dives coming to the game. On the article, there was an FAQ, and it was asked, will Xbox be broadcasting post-show content? They said, starting from Monday, June 10th and running throughout the week, the official Xbox podcast will be airing a series of special episodes offering updates and deeper dives into titles featured during the showcase. These shows will be published daily on Xbox's YouTube channel and podcast services, with accompanying articles on Xbox Wire. We look forward to sharing more details after the showcase concludes. So this is kind of a different approach from them. Usually they do the Xbox Extended Direct, which is like kind of a second showcase, but more of a sit-down interview.
Yeah.
And so I actually kind of like this, letting games breathe, and throughout the week, instead of doing like a 2-hour-long thing, just breaking it up and having like 30-minute little videos every day. I think it could work for them, and I do like that, actually. But that is going to do it for the Xbox Game Showcase preview. I think regardless of what we see, it's going to be a really fun day on Sunday. Again, we will be back here live streaming on Sunday. I believe the Xbox Showcase is technically at 1 o'clock. We'll probably go live maybe an hour or so beforehand or whatever we decide to do. So make sure you subscribe, stick around, and we will, do the watch along or reactions on Sunday. But in the meantime, let's dive into the headlines that we have for the past week. With number 2 on the headlines, Devro, there was a state of play this past week. Mm-hmm. Did you get to watch it?
Yes, I have.
Okay. We're going to, via the PlayStation blog, run through everything that was announced. Dev, just to, if you're following it, I'm going to start from the bottom because their biggest release, the announcements are on the top.
Okay.
If you're following this.
Okay.
So this isn't really in any particular order, but we got a trailer for Where Winds Meet, an epic open-world action-adventure RPG set in ancient China. We also saw Infinity Nikki, an open-world dress-up adventure game, which I was so conflicted about this because, like...
It looks, for me, it's the second best game they showed that whole showcase. I'm
okay.
gonna be honest.
Okay.
I
would agree with that, actually.
I probably won't ever play it. Maybe I'll watch a playthrough of it, but that
Yeah.
game looks very interesting. It's something... I don't know, something new. Something... It's
right,
so hard
yeah.
to explain, you know what I mean?
Like, here's the thing. I have no interest in the fashion part of this game, like when she's, like, dressing up and stuff.
Yeah.
But, like, the world...
But I feel like if I'm playing the game, I think I would be interested in it. You know, I'd be like, ooh, this dress looks pretty. You know,
maybe
I could see myself getting invested if I was.
It's
playing
like
that game.
it's like a fashion designer game. It's like an old like DS game.
Yeah,
but it's like she's a princess in like a fantasy world, and it's just like the world itself just looks so like interesting and fascinating that it's like
I agree.
If someone was like, hey, play this game, like I would sit down and I would play this game.
Yeah, because it doesn't look bad at all.
No, it doesn't look like a bad game. I'm sure it's gonna be a great game.
Yeah.
But then like there's combat. I'm just like there's some like I don't know what this game is.
Yeah, like this shot right here. No, it's just a really.
I mean, it says it's an adventure game.
Yeah.
So the PlayStation blog says, Infinity Nikki is an open world dress up adventure game. I love adventure games.
Mm-hmm.
Coming to PS5 with a beta test due later this year. Why does it need a beta test first? That makes me think it's not a single player game. Why would you do a beta test for a single player game? Is this a multiplayer game? Is this a live service game?
I don't think so.
Why do a beta? It's so weird. This game is so weird. It doesn't look bad, but
No.
it's just weird.
Yeah.
Ballad of Antara was shown off as well. It is a free-to-play fantasy action RPG coming to PS5 in 2025. Got an announcement for a new Dynasty Warriors game, Dynasty Warriors Origins. You ever play the Dynasty Warriors games?
I've tried to get into them. I haven't. I've played a few, but I've never gotten into it. The one I've gotten into the most was the Zelda one, and even that one, I couldn't.
Oh, I love that one just because it's Zelda.
But are you into Dynasty Warriors as a franchise?
Kind of. I've played some of the older ones on the PS2 back in the day. At a friend's house. I've never like really owned one and sat down. I think I actually own one for the 360. I just haven't played it.
Okay.
But like I don't know. Like I'm definitely kind of into it, but not like super into it.
Like you wouldn't get like You don't see yourself getting this game.
I don't see myself getting Dynasty Warriors Origins personally.
It looks great.
It looks really good.
Game, especially if you like Dynasty Warriors.
Dynasty Warriors is hype as hell, though. I do like the thought of it, like, hey, you're just like a badass. You're just going through all these armies and just mowing armies down.
Yeah.
Like, that is really cool.
It's aesthetically pleasing to watch. Like,
yeah, sometimes the gameplay gets a little mindless, though. I will say that from playing the Zelda one, the Fire Emblem one.
I forgot about the Fire Emblem one.
The Fire Emblem one's really good too. I think the Zelda one's better, but that's just I'm a Zelda fan. I have a bias there, so you know what do I know? Marvel's Rivals, which this was the console reveal that it's coming to PlayStation and Xbox.
Yeah.
It is the Marvel 5v5 hero shooter.
I think this game is going to clean up. Like, when it actually comes, I know the whole controversy behind it and, like, not doing it. Mm-hmm. And I think people are tired of hero shooters.
They are. They absolutely are. We'll talk more about that in a little bit.
But I think putting heroes that you know, putting established heroes that you know into this game, I think that's what's going to help it.
I agree. I think this game's, for what it's worth, I think this game's going to do well.
Yeah. Like, I get there's a fatigue of hero shooters, but I think they're gonna be excited for this one. You get to play as Venom, you get to play as Rocket, you get to play as Spider-Man. Like, you know what I mean? Like, people want that, and the game looks good itself. So
I think so. Yeah, and it's gonna be free to play. So
we can't say anything bad about it, you know.
Well, we could. Wait a second. Hold on. Wait. Excuse me. We could.
Yeah. But no. Yeah, I think it's gonna do fine.
Yeah,
it's like a good game.
Next up, we saw Alien Rogue Incursion for the PSVR 2. I'm just gonna say it. I don't think this game looked any good. I thought that the graphics weren't very impressive to me at all. Which is, I understand it's VR, but it's just not. I expected better, especially from your showcase. And we'll talk about the PSVR 2 in a little bit, like as I wrap up my thoughts on the showcase. Or there's one more PSVR 2 game. I don't know if it's going to be in order. No, it's not. So we'll get to there. Do you have any thoughts on Alien specifically, though? I don't think it looked very good.
I think it looked fine to me.
When the alien popped on the screen, I don't know why, but it looked kind of choppy, and I was just like, oh.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, okay.
I think it'll be fine. I think it's going to be a short experience. Horror games on VR do well. Mm-hmm. Like, this looks like a game where I probably wouldn't play it just because of the horror aspect of it, but I don't know. It's whatever.
Silent Hill 2 was shown off.
That didn't look bad at all. That looked pretty good.
See, I disagree.
Really?
I think the game looked kind of rough graphically, especially considering that like the last game that this team made was the Medium. I thought the Medium looked way better, graphically speaking, of course. And it seems like a lot of Silent Hill fans seem to agree with that sentiment.
Okay.
I've personally not really played the Silent Hill games, but I know that some people are like looking at like textures and some characters, and they're not super pleased with how they look. And I didn't think the game really like wowed me. I don't think. And here's the thing: like I understand that maybe I'm not the audience for this game because I didn't play the first Silent Hills 2. Mm-hmm. But this game has yet to really show me. Like, I have not gotten the hype around this at all. Like, I'm just like, I watched the trailers that they show, and I'm just like, admittedly, I didn't watch the transmission that they did, the special Silent Hills 2 showcase or whatever. Mm-hmm. But I don't know. Every time I've seen this game, like, I just don't. I'm not impressed. I don't walk away like, man, this is like, this makes me really want to get into Silent Hill.
Okay.
Like I think it just hasn't done that yet, and this new trailer didn't do it for me either.
I'm not into the Silent Hill franchise. I played part of the first game. Mm-hmm. But to me this looked good. But you're saying that people who played the franchise didn't like it, so.
Yeah, I mean, but again, like I haven't played it either. I was not impressed by it. I think I could get into it, but it just didn't catch me at all. Okay. Monster Hunter Wilds. I think this game looks good, but this is just something that I've never had any interest in Monster Hunter.
Yeah. I would ask Forrest because Forrest he played Monster Hunter.
Yeah, he's a huge Monster Hunter guy, so I would love to know what he thinks about it, but he couldn't make it tonight. But I mean, you know, again, I was very underwhelmed. I want to like
Monster Hunter, but
I don't know. I think like again, this is a game that aesthetically is pleasing, but I don't really care for it at all. It just doesn't excite me. Path of Exile 2 was shown off, a free-to-play action RPG coming from Grinding Gear Games, coming to PS5 with couch co-op.
I actually did not know it was free-to-play, so that's pretty cool.
Yeah, I think Path of Exile looks pretty cool. Looks good.
Yeah.
We saw the other VR game, Skydance's Behemoth. The PlayStation blog says that Skydance's Behemoth is Skydance Games' next monumental offering for PSVR 2 and its follow-up effort to the award-winning The Walking Dead Saints and Sinners game. It is a first-person action adventure VR title launching this fall. I also just was not impressed by this either. And I just think that... And we have more storyline headlines coming up later with the PSVR 2, but it's like, man, PSVR 2 is just dead in the water, in my opinion. I
think it's definitely dying. They're not supporting it anymore, so it's going to die. Something you don't support is going to die. But this game itself, like...
I don't think either of these games look very good, and I think that we're once again in another showcase where PlayStation tries to act like they care about the PSVR 2, and then they once again have failed. Like, I'm someone, we talk about it all the time. I'm someone who, like, the allure of the VR, like it's something that I'm cognizant of and, like, want. Like, I want to believe. I want to buy into PSVR 2 so badly. But PlayStation has yet to give a single reason to invest in the headset.
I disagree with that. Like
any game worth having is on the meta.
But if you see this game, and I do hope this comes to meta.
It probably will.
If you saw this game and you weren't impressed by it, I don't know what else is going to impress you. Like, that's the kind of...
It just looks like every other VR game.
Skydance is really good at making games. Like...
I'm not saying anything bad.
I'm just saying the Walking Dead game is very, very good. And
right.
When I saw this game, I was like, oh, this is what I want. They make full VR games. Like, this is a full title. You're probably going to put 30-plus hours into this game. This is what I'm excited for. Like,
I don't know, man. I'm just saying, I came out of it underwhelmed once again for PSVR 2.
It's also, you're watching a trailer for a VR game in 2D. Like, you're just watching it. And every trailer for any VR game, if you can't put your mind in that headspace, it's just going to look like just...
Well, I don't know, because I feel like I see trailers for other VR games, and I'm like, oh, wow, that looks really cool. That's why I want to get into VR. But I just feel like none of them, just in the past, I don't remember off the top of my head, but just... Like, I just feel like I sit down for all these PlayStation showcases and State of Plays, and they show off PSVR 2, and I don't think I've ever really come away from any of them just like, wow, I really want to go out and spend $500 for a PSVR 2. And I don't know what it's going to take for that. I don't have an answer for that because PlayStation hasn't done it yet. And so, I mean, it's just, for me, it is what it is. It's just, I think in the same week that they announced that they are putting out that PC adapter, which we'll talk more about later, like, it's just, for me, it's just, I'm not saying these games are necessarily bad. I just don't think PlayStation has supported the headset at all. And I don't think they've given anyone a reason to care. And it's just another PlayStation. It's such a head scratcher that PlayStation, who, you know, they could touted as such a market leader, which they are, but like when it comes to like handhelds and peripherals and third party, like not third party, but like when they leave that home console space and they venture into other things, it's not even a question of quality. It's just like they put it out and they're just like, all right. Like the Vita, like they put the Vita out. Vita's a great piece of hardware. And they just don't support it, and it just dies. You know what I mean? And the PSVR 2, same thing, where it's just like, I feel like they just put it out. And they're like, all right, cool. We did it. It's over. Like, as if you don't have to develop games for it, or continue to support it. You know, like, this thing has been out for what, like 2 years now?
Yeah.
And, like, we have one first-party game that launched with it, and an update to Gran Turismo. And that is it, first-party-wise.
Yeah, first-party-wise, yeah.
Why should I buy your box or your headset? Why should I buy your headset? I have no reason to buy a PSVR 2. And I really wanted that to not be the case because I wanted one badly for the last 2 years. But it's just like, I can't keep sitting here and being like, they're going to show me. They're going to show me eventually. Like, no. Like, at that point, I'll believe it when I see it. Moving on, we saw Until Dawn, the PS5 port. Got a gameplay trailer. Until Dawn is a great game if you didn't play it during the PS4 days. God of War Ragnarok got its PC release date along with a title or a trailer. September 19th, 2024 for PC. We'll be talking about that in a little bit as well in the headlines. So let's get into the two big releases announcements from the State of Play. Let's start with Astrobot because I want to talk about Astrobot.
I think okay. We'll start with Astrobot.
I do want to talk about Astrobot first. I think Astrobot looks so fucking cool. I can't wait to play this. I don't know how much the game's gonna run price wise. I don't know if this is gonna be a $70 offering for them.
Hmm.
I'm a little skeptical if it's a $70 offering. But like, man, this game just looks so cool.
Yeah.
It pays so much love and attention to PlayStation and its IP.
Hmm.
Like we were talking about earlier, it's good to just have this platformer, family friendly mascot that you can kind of, kind of not lean on, but lean on a little bit.
It also seems like, well, we played the Astro that came with the
Yeah, with the PS5,
and
yeah.
it used the PlayStation control 5 controller is very great, and
Yeah.
it just used all the features on it, and I'm excited for a full game to use all the features on that controller.
Yeah.
Like you said, I think we saw a Kratos Astrobot. We
Yeah,
saw
Horizon.
Horizon Astrobot.
Just to dive in a little bit deeper here, Sony says that Astrobot is more than 4 times the size of Astro's Playroom, and it has no microtransactions. This was via an FAQ on the game's website. Sony confirms that the game will be significantly larger than Astro's Playroom, which is the game you just talked about that
Yeah.
came packaged in with PS5s. Uh, Someone said, or not someone, the Q&A said that Astrobot is a standalone, full-sized adventure that offers over 4 times more worlds, 300 bots to rescue, and dozens of new powers and features to discover. It also notes that there are no in-game purchases or microtransactions, saying each planet already has plenty of coins to find and spend in the Gacha lab. Sony has also confirmed that the game will be single-player only, and it won't be released on PS4 or PSVR 2. Though a PC version isn't mentioned, so it's leaving the door open for a port in the future.
That's cool.
Yeah. So the game's reveal trailer has almost universally praised, with 99% likes on the video at the time of the writing of this article. Ooh, excuse me. Which was, I believe, today. Yes, today, this morning.
This was the best game from the showcase.
This was the best game from the showcase.
Yeah.
I just think it's such a gorgeous game. It really nails the vibe, the different worlds, different boss fights, the characters from PlayStation. Like, this is just an excellent game. This is something that you want to see from them. So I'm very happy with this showing. That was it, right? That was it. That was it for the showing. That was it for the showcase. There wasn't anything else. One more. Oh, yeah. And then they showed Concord, which Concord. I have a lot of issues with Concord.
Okay.
I have a whole lot of issues, and not even just from the game's own merits, but really from the showcase itself. So, like, my problem with this in general. Number one, I think. So Concord is a 5v5 arena shooter, which we talked about earlier. I think that genre has serious fatigue,
Yeah.
and I think it really does.
Mhm.
So I think you're already fighting an uphill battle from that perspective with this game. I think. Sorry, you go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say, it has to be good. I think if it's good, it's fine. Like, Valorant is doing fine. It's one of the most streamed games. People play that a lot. I think while hero shooters, while they're being fatigued, there's still a market for them. People still want to play these games. You get tired of the one you're playing, and you want to try out the new one, and the new one has to succeed. So that's the only uphill battle for this. Is it has to play. It has to play right. That's all.
Yeah, I think so. I think you're right to an extent, but I would go as far to say that I also was kind of underwhelmed in general with the game showing. I think that the way they showed this game was not well thought out. So they start off with this very Guardians of the Galaxy-esque like reveal.
Very Guardians of the Galaxy. Yeah.
And like, which, number one, like, I don't know if maybe it's just like that it's fatigue in its own right, but that style of writing, but like didn't land with me at all. Like, I'm watching it and I'm like, okay, I see what you're going for. You're clearly going for Guardians.
People are tired of not even just the Guardians, just the Marvel.
The Marvel
Disney
writing. Marvel writing. Yeah.
And it works for Guardians. Have you played the Guardians game yet?
It's on my back.
It's such a great game. It's
I know.
one of my
I believe
favorite
it.
games
I believe it.
that came out that year.
But so like they do this video, this video,
Yeah.
and it's very Guardians-esque. My other thing with it is it was so long. Like I just felt like they were hyping up for a single player game, because mind you, going into this, like, at least me, like, I didn't really know what to expect from Concord. I think that they had said it was going to be multiplayer, but like I didn't know exactly what it was going to be. So like, or at least I didn't remember what it was going to be. But like, so like I feel like they were kind of building up to be like a single player kind of game, and then it's like, oh, it's an arena shooter. It's like, okay, like you were clear. Like I really just felt like PlayStation kind of missed the mark here, where PlayStation's very good at the single player, like cinematic games. We talk about them. It's what they do best. Mm-hmm. And I feel like they were trying to sell Concord like it was that, and then they instantly were like, it's a shooter. It's a arena shooter. Mm-hmm. And it's like what you showed me with that first set piece or whatever, tone setter, whatever you want to call it. What you showed me there and what followed did not match at all for me, in my opinion.
And they did say they were going to try to integrate like cinematic storytelling. Like apparently it has a story.
I mean, sure, but so does Overwatch.
Yeah.
Overwatch has a story too.
But like I guess they have cinematic scenes and like dialogue between characters in between matches and stuff like that. I don't know what that means. I don't know what that looks like. But no, I did think it was a single player game.
And yeah, and then it ends up being like an arena shooter. And then like another thing that was baffling to me, and I think this is just PlayStation trying to do what's always worked for PlayStation, which is like the brand deals and like, hey guys, we're PlayStation, we have Spider-Man, we have Star Wars, like we're the place where all these big brands come and like you get the marketing deals. I think it was really poor decision making on PlayStation's part to have Marvel's Rivals show up here. I think that it just, for me, like I think Marvel Rivals looked way better. It has an IP that I would want to like play, like like we talked about the Marvel characters in that universe.
Yeah.
And then like the big thing going around with a lot of people is Marvel Rivals is free to play. Concord is rumored to be a premium price title.
Okay.
And I think that like I just don't know why they thought it was a good idea to put Marvel Rivals on this show, because it, pun not intended, it rivaled Concord, which was like a something that you were really going to lean your hat on if you're PlayStation this year.
Yeah. I think, though, watching both games, and I've played both, Marvel Rivals plays, it even looks like Overwatch when you see the gameplay of it. And I see the same thing with this game, Concord, looking like Destiny. It looks and it plays a lot like Destiny. Like, down to the shooting, the aiming down sights, some of the abilities are very, very Destiny.
Okay.
So they're different enough. But I do agree that one being free to play and one being a premium title might have a lot that might affect one a lot.
So overall, let me finish up with this first. So I have from Insider Gaming, Concord was hit with overly negative response after its reveal. The debut of Concord, Sony's PlayStation State of Play, hasn't been as well received as Sony and developer Firewalk would have hoped. In the hours since Concord's first trailer and gameplay were revealed, the game has been hit with an overly negative response from gamers. As of publishing, Concord's cinematic reveal trailer has a 76.99% negative rating, while its gameplay trailer has an 82.39 dislike rate. And the comments from fans haven't been any better, with Concord being panned for numerous things ranging from appearing like another Overwatch clone to having, quote, no soul. The cutscene sold me on an adventure, said one commenter.
I agree with that.
The very next words out of the developer's mouth is 5v5 FPS. Said another, it's like Guardians of the Galaxy meets Suicide Squad meets Overwatch. Concord is a 5v5 hero shooter set in a new like Concord galaxy. The game sees players takes control of one of a number of free gunners, each having different abilities. The free gunners roam the stars, taking high-stakes jobs on worlds from across wild space, where they face other fiercely competitive free gunner crews, the game director Ryan Ellis said. From match to match, you'll form your team of free gunners with other players and battle it out with rival crews to take home the reward across a variety of maps and modes. He added, while our core gameplay will feel familiar to shooter fans, the versatility and variety of each free gunner and their ability makes it so aim and thumb skill alone aren't always enough to come out on top. I mean, yeah, again, like, I really agree with the general reception here, where they opened the show with it, and I was so underwhelmed. Because I don't know what I was expecting exactly, but, like, I thank God they had Astrobot on here, because honestly, I really wasn't feeling this showcase. I mean, kind of looking back on it, I mean, Astrobot I'm excited for. Like, I'm just scrolling through the games. I'm not an arena shooter guy. Marvel Rivals looks pretty decent, but I'm not a hero shooter, arena shooter. It's never been my thing. Again, Infinity Nikki is like the second best game, like you said earlier. I think there wasn't much here, and I don't think it was a very good showcase, especially because if Concord comes out and Concord's awesome, I think it's a totally different showcase because you're opening and ending with 2 first-party games, showing them off, and they're looking great. And then what's in the middle isn't as important. It's kind of like a Nintendo Direct. Like, a great Nintendo Direct doesn't always necessarily need to be everything is a banger. It just needs to be like, well, what are the big tentpole things that are being shown off by Nintendo? And I just think that, like, coming out of the state of play, I was just like, it's not there for me at all.
Okay.
So that's the PlayStation State of Play. Let's continue on in the headlines. Number 3. Sticking with PlayStation, there was some controversy due to a Neil Druckmann interview that was pulled. The following comes from Insider Gaming. Sony has taken down its interview with Naughty Dog studio head Neil Druckmann after finding with it claims were significant errors and inaccuracies in the interview. It comes just days after Druckmann himself took to Twitter to clarify statements that were attributed to him. Quote, in re-reviewing our recent interview with Naughty Dog's Neil Druckmann, we have found several significant errors and inaccuracies that don't represent his perspective and values, including topics such as animation, writing, technology, AI, and future projects, Sony said. We apologize to Neil for misrepresenting his words and for any negative impact his interview might have caused him and his team. In coordination with Naughty Dog and SIE, we have removed the interview. One of the biggest concerns from the now removed interview was an apparent quote from Druckmann saying that his new game would redefine mainstream perceptions of gaming. Ultimately, however, it was shown that Druckmann never said the quote attributed to him by Sony. He also was attributed to saying that AI would revolutionize how games were made in general. Other examples of the significant errors were mentioned by Druckmann or Sony, but it seems as though the interview not only was paraphrased, but created entirely new statements from Druckmann. Whether this was intentional by the writer or another tool was used is unknown. Insider Gaming has reached out to Sony for more clarification on what the other inaccuracies found in the interview were, but as you can imagine, they did not receive a response. I thought this was a wild story that I was kind of surprised it didn't pick up more traction this week. I mean, I don't understand how you can like misquote your developer so strongly that you're like, hey, like we kind of misrepresented his thoughts on like these 6 huge things. Like I love that part of the quote where they're like animation, AI, game development. Like it's just like Jesus, my God. I saw a tweet that I thought was really kind of to recap it, and I figured I would mention it here. It comes from Ethan Gotch, American Truck Songs S9. Says, a quick recap. Sony removes almost all outside media access to its creatives. They publish a very rare interview with one of its star developers. Said developer distances himself from it because it's full of fabricated quotes, and then Sony nukes the entire interview and apologizes. That is the Spark Notes for you, the bullet points. Like, just wild. Like,
It sounds like they want to control the media that comes out of their game development, which I understand. I think Nintendo's really strong with that too.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know.
That's not how it works.
To change, yeah, you can't just. Well, it is. It could be how it works.
Is it kind of
change?
Could you imagine it like so? Someone sat down with Neil Druckmann and asked him these questions, and then he was answering them, and they were like, "I'm not going to put that." Just scratching it out.
Yeah, it's a little weird.
So, yeah, that was something that happened this week. Moving on, though. Number 4 in the headlines. Devro, the Nintendo Ninjas. They know.
They found him?
They know where. They don't know who, but they know where. The following comes from The Verge. YouTube insider access is tied to massive leaks. Leaks around PlayStation and Nintendo have sparked concerns about Google employees' access to not yet published videos. The leaked lineup for last week's PlayStation State of Play surfaced shortly after the event was scheduled on YouTube. This has added to concerns over the kind of access Google employees have to videos before they go live, an issue highlighted in recent reports from Insider Gaming's Tom Henderson and 404 Media. One incident, as noted by Henderson, occurred in 2022 when KSI attempted to give away over $10,000 in Amazon gift cards. However, KSI later realized that all the gift card codes had been redeemed before the video was even posted. Sparking an internal investigation at YouTube, the company reportedly started a similar investigation after the trailer for GTA 6 launched, or leaked, but it's not clear whether it's related. All of this ties into what seems like an ongoing problem at Google. On Monday, today, 404 Media published reports based on Google's internal database records and found that a Google contractor was behind the 2017 Nintendo leak that offered an early look at Yoshi's Crafted World. At the time, a user on Reddit shared an image of the trailer just before its reveal at E3. The image contained an admin.youtube.com URL in the address bar, suggesting that an employee accessed the private version of the video. Google confirmed that the employee accessed the information in a database entry viewed by 404 Media. Google employee deliberately leaked private Nintendo information, the entry said. Former TVC, temporary vendor contractor, download video with admin account, and shared unreleased Nintendo feature with friend. The entry also reportedly said the incident was non-intentional. It's like, oops, I didn't mean to leak this Nintendo trailer. Mm-hmm. It was an accident. It wasn't intentional.
Yeah, his finger slipped.
It's like, oop, and it puts in the whole admin website. Like, the video starts playing. He's like, oh no. In a statement to The Verge, Google spokesperson Matt Bryan says every flag reported by 404 Media was reviewed and resolved at that time. However, the company didn't elaborate on what it does to prevent employees from accessing and leaking content early. This has been a big thing with leakers, in terms of, YouTube, and that's kind of where they're getting them. We know that that's how the GTA 6 trailer was leaked, earlier this year. Mm-hmm. So it seems like Nintendo and PlayStation are dealing with this as well. I did find it interesting to note that Pioro, who's the bird, the Nintendo leaker, he verified that he does not get his leaks from YouTube. He actually legitimately was like, no, I don't get it from Google. And I believe him. I 100% believe this bird. All hail the bird. Number 5 on the headlines, really exciting news for me, and once again proves Devro incorrect. Octopath Traveler 2 is coming to Game Pass this month. Once again, Xtis1 of xpooter.com has stated that Octopath Traveler 2 is coming to Xbox and Game Pass this month. In the forum post he put on Xpooter's site, he states, Xpooter has learned through sources who wish to remain anonymous that Square Enix's Octopath Traveler 2 is arriving on Xbox Series consoles this month, though the exact date couldn't be confirmed. It's going to be a day one Xbox Game Pass game, along with the franchise's first game, Octopath Traveler, which could also be added to the subscription service as well. I think the first one was already on Game Pass. Great. Interesting. For those who missed it, it's just saying that it was announced at Tokyo Game Show. This is great. I love Octopath Traveler 2, and I will be going back and playing it again on Xbox.
Mm-hmm. Oh, 80 hours? Pull up your Xbox. You have Xbox on your laptop? Pull it up and just see how many hours you put in the Octopath Traveler.
What? No, I don't even know where I would find that stat. What do you want me? You want me to go to Xbox?
Yeah, it's usually if you just look up the game.
Well, this is the first game. It's not even the same game. It's a different game. Oh, I gotta update.
Oh wait, no, you played it on.
I played the first game on Xbox.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
The second one I played on Switch.
Okay, never mind.
Okay, because they want me to update my Xbox now. Everything's all messed up. Okay, I'll do this later. Yeah, I'm excited. I loved Octopath Traveler 2 last year. It was my favorite game last year. No, it was my second favorite game last year behind Starfield. But it was great.
You like Starfield more than Octopath Traveler?
I did.
Okay.
But for me, it's like 1A, 1A, B. Like, it's like, I don't know. On any given day, I could probably swing the other way. It's a very Twilight Princess Majora's Mask kind of situation where it's like, you ask me today and it's Starfield, and maybe 5 months from now, like, oh man. Octopath, though. What a game. But I love both of those games. So I'm very excited for Octopath Traveler 2 to be coming to Xbox this month, and Game Pass, mind you. Next up in the headlines, number 6, Netflix announces an animated Minecraft series is coming soon. In a new post on Twitter, Netflix officially confirmed the new animated series is now in the works. Both Netflix and Mojang Studios are working on the series. Fans of the game are pleased that the show will directly involve the iconic developers. Today's post includes a brief teaser trailer, though it doesn't seem to feature any actual footage from the show. Instead, a classic Minecraft creeper appears and proceeds to explode, revealing the Netflix logo. That's pretty much it. For the time being, we don't know much more about it, but Minecraft is really popping up. They got the animated series from Netflix. They have the live action movie.
I think we're 100% going to see a trailer for that at the showcase.
I don't know. I don't think so.
You don't think we're going to see a Minecraft trailer for the Netflix show at the showcase?
If it was a game, I think Xbox has learned from their mistakes. They don't want to muddy the waters. It's going to be games, and maybe hardware, but nothing else.
All right. I don't know why you think that, but
because Xbox tries to avoid past mistakes. Whether they succeed or not is neither here nor there. People complained over the years that they didn't put enough games and it was too much speaking, so they're going to show games.
Didn't they show shows last year?
No, I don't think so.
They didn't show Fallout?
No.
Okay.
Which they should have if they didn't, so they won't, in my opinion.
Oh yeah, Fallout was at the Game Awards.
Yes. That makes more sense. Jeff Keighley's lame-ass E3. Yeah, more on that later. Next up in the headlines, Sony had a leak that allowed Destiny 2 players access to the Final Shape expansion early. Which, mind you, it's still not out yet. It comes out tomorrow. Bungie's highly anticipated Destiny 2, the Final Shape expansion, isn't due to launch until tomorrow, June 4th. But a number of players have been able to get access to the game this morning. This morning was May 30th, by the way. So 5 days ago. What was that, Thursday?
Yeah.
Because Friday was your birthday. Happy birthday, by the way.
Thank you.
Yeah. But a number of players are able to get access to the game. Posters on Reddit and in Discord servers have been sharing images and gameplay and video of gameplay of the Final Shape, which was accessible through Sony's PS5 cloud streaming service. As the entire DLC was playable for at least 5 hours, Destiny 2 players have been able to share spoilers about upcoming raid gear, seasonal content, the Final Shape campaign and missions, and even cutscenes. Videos have also appeared on YouTube showing an early look at new weapons and gear that will be available next week. Bungie confirmed the leak in a post on Twitter, noting that the DLC was accidentally pushed live on PS5's streaming service, allowing a small group of players to access the campaign, collections, and reward info for the Final Shape. Bungie encourages Destiny 2 players to report leaks and not to share spoilers. It's always extremely difficult when our team's hard work is leaked early, but we are still excited for everyone to experience the full release on June 4th together, says the Destiny 2 team. I saw a funny tweet this week, and it was someone from, I don't know if it was someone from Bungie or from whatever, but apparently the person was saying that people at Bungie were telling them that there was an internal joke saying that the Destiny, oh, I can't wait for PlayStation to accidentally leak our stuff. And it actually happened, so.
It sucks, but I'm glad it was a small group of people. It was only for 5 hours.
Yeah, but that's how information is, though. People get in, spoilers are out there now, but hopefully people avoided it because it does launch tomorrow, so they're almost there. Number 8 on the headlines. God of War Ragnarok, Devro. It got the PC release date. Everyone's all excited. It's going to be great. Right?
Yeah.
Well, it's going to be great for you if you have a PSN account. God of War Ragnarok on PC requires a PSN account. Coming from VGC, Sony revealed during the State of Play that the game's coming to PC on September 19th. However, a blog post about the game notes that an account for PlayStation Network is required. The game's Steam page also confirms this, saying PSN Network account is required, subject to the PlayStation Terms of Service and User Agreement. This was further confirmed at the State of Play presentation with the statement reading that it requires a PSN Network subscription. While this is sometimes the case for PlayStation PC ports, which have online multiplayer modes, God of War is a single-player game only. The restriction theoretically means the game will not be available to buy in any of the more than 170 countries where Steam is available, but PlayStation Network isn't. The news will provide controversial following in an attempt to implement a similar requirement in Helldivers 2. The requirement was present when the game originally launched, but after its unexpected early success led to severe technical issues, it was temporarily removed.
I didn't know that.
Yep. Earlier this month, Sony stated the requirement would be returning on May 30th to Helldivers, and that all players would need to have their Steam and PSN accounts by June 4th. This led to the game being delisted in 177 countries because the PlayStation Network is not available in those countries. The news was met with huge backlash from players, and the game was hit with over 100,000 negative reviews on Steam in less than 48 hours. Due to the reception, PlayStation delivered a U-turn and scrapped the requirement, saying it was still learning what is best for PC players. This was promptly followed by a confirmation by Ghost of Tsushima Studios Sucker Punch that the Steam version of Ghost of Tsushima Director's Cut didn't need a PSN account for a single-player mode. While players use it for the game's Legends Online multiplayer mode or to bring up a PlayStation overlay in-game, they can choose not to sign into a PSN account if they don't want either of those. I just find this a baffling decision for them. I mean,
I don't think it's that baffling. I think they're trying to build a PC market. Obviously, when you're trying to build that PC market, you want your own hub. So you're gonna put those. You're gonna require an account for people to play these games. The baffling part is it's not even baffling.
The baffling part. Sorry, go ahead.
No, I was just saying, just make it available in those countries. Find a way to do that. That's all.
Well, again, that's for me the part that's like, I don't think there's a problem with needing to have a PSN account, especially if it's free. I think the problem is, well, then why? My question is, why don't you have this? Why don't you have PSN available in all these other countries?
Yeah.
Now, my understanding of it was that it had to do with like a tax issue, where like I guess Sony didn't want to pay the taxes in those countries to have the service. I'm not 100% on that, but I remember reading that. I don't have a source, so grain of salt. But I think for me, like, if you want to go into the PC business, like, you have to commit to it. So I think, like, you have to have it where players in these countries can buy these games.
Yeah.
And I think it's also really weird for single-player games to have the requirement, but only some. Like, so what's the difference between Ghost of Tsushima and God of War Ragnarok? Both are single-player games. One requires the account and one doesn't. Like, it's just a lot of flip-floppy.
For me, the only thing is, don't do it after. So they tried to do it to Ghost of Tsushima after it was already out and available in these countries. And to me,
no, they said that they just wasn't going to require one.
No, but they said it was, and then they took it back.
That was Helldivers.
No, for Ghost of Tsushima too. Ghost of Tsushima is already on PC, right?
It is now, but like
at the time, it was already on PC, and they wanted to put it in. So I get it.
I thought it was just Helldivers.
Don't restrict the game that's already out and like then add it to it. And I actually didn't know that Helldivers, it was originally on. They had to take it out, so that makes sense why they tried to redo it. Right. It also makes sense why they stopped.
Right.
If you're gonna put out any more future games, I can see it doing that. Just make those games available in those countries. That's all.
Yeah, I agree.
Missing out a whole market.
Again, it just doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's nonsensical. Number 9 in the headlines. PlayStation VR 2 launches a PC adapter coming August 7th, 2024. Sounds great, right? It's $60 for the adapter.
Oh, that's okay. I thought it was gonna.
I think it's terrible.
No, that's
$60?
Yeah.
For a plug?
Yeah.
That's terrible. In a new post on Twitter today, Sony announced that the PSVR 2 PC adapter is launching on August 7th, 2024, with a price point of $59.99, says Insider Gaming. I think that, like...
That's a bit high, but...
Well, here's the thing. Here's how I'm looking at it. I'm looking at it from an entire perspective. Who's going to spend $500 on this headset and then an additional $60? Like, I just...
I think you're also... Again, you don't play the VR... You're not in the VR market right now.
Mm-hmm.
$500 for a headset like the PSVR 2 headset I think that's a great price, honestly.
Okay.
If you're playing on PC, if you're doing it on PlayStation, that's a whole different thing because that's another $500. If you already own a PC and you're trying to upgrade your headset, and hopefully if this headset just works naturally, like you don't have to no weird Sony interface like on the PC side,
mm-hmm.
then $500 is not such a bad price.
I hear you. I hope that's the case. I mean, I don't know. I don't like the price point. I think the $60 for the adapter is really high, in my opinion. So, number 10 on the headlines. originally a PlayStation exclusive game, Kenna Bridge of Spirits is releasing on Xbox consoles on August 15th. Kenna Bridge of Spirits pre-orders will be going live soon. In a new turn of events, we see one of PlayStation's titles coming over to Xbox instead of the other way around. Jokes Insider Gaming. Ember Labs is releasing Kenna Bridge of Spirits on Xbox Series and Xbox One, physically and digitally, on August 15th, 2024. The devs are collaborating with Maximum Entertainment Retail for the physical release, which provides the player with some bonus content. Xbox hasn't provided a price tag for the game yet, but we should expect pre-orders at major retailers to go live soon. This is exciting for me. This was a game that was on my backlog, and I'll probably be picking this up for Xbox. Very beautiful looking game. Number 11, Spyro and Crash Studio Toys for Bob have officially announced their partnership with Xbox on its next game. They tweeted, "We're excited to announce that we'll be partnering with Xbox to publish our next new game. We're still very early in development, so you might not hear from us for a bit. But know that we're working hard on an experience we're so inspired about. Can't wait to share more. Purple Heart."
That's exciting. It's exciting that they're excited about it.
Yeah, for sure. So, like, what do you think it's... I'm going making a big assumption here. This is a Spyro game, right?
I want to believe
A lot
that.
of purple. A lot of purple. A lot of purple.
Yeah, that is a lot of
A
purple.
lot of purple. A lot of purple.
Yeah. I don't know.
Purple heart. Purple logo.
I think I think that's so weird to go independent, to get money from the studio, and to work on their franchise.
So
I would assume they would want to work on something original, but who knows?
So I've been thinking about this too, and I know that like Jez Corn has speculated and Tyus had talked about it a little bit too, but it could just be they saw this as an opportunity to kind of stand on their own legs. Xbox is...
If you want to stand on your own legs, then stand on your own legs.
But they still wanted to make Xbox games.
That's the thing, though. So you're not standing on your own legs. You're getting paid by the studio, and you're using their franchise. So
it is very interesting.
It's whatever comes out of it, I hope they're happy, and I hope the game is good. That's all I care about. Like,
I mean, who knows what the situation is? I mean, for all we know, maybe Microsoft. We've talked about a lot of directives coming from on high from Microsoft over Xbox about how the business should be run because they want to return on their investments. Maybe Microsoft is like, hey, Activision, you guys are going to continue to operate in terms of Call of Duty the way you've been operating. So maybe Toys for Bob was looking at this as an opportunity to be like, hey, like, we really don't want to be a part of the Call of Duty cycle anymore. Because that's what Toys for Bob has been doing.
Yeah.
All the Activision studios have been
let the studio go? Then that still doesn't make sense to me.
Because
I don't think there's anything wrong with it. It's
pure
just weird
speculation.
all around.
Pure speculation. But what I'm saying is, maybe, keep in mind, there's Xbox leadership and then there's Microsoft leadership. Microsoft leadership might say, no, we want Activision to continue to churn out Call of Duties because that's what makes money.
Yeah.
And then maybe Toys for Bob is like, well, we really want to make our own games.
So just move
and
the
maybe
studio
Xbox
over.
is like, well, they want you to work on COD. And they're like, well, we don't want to work on COD. It's like Xbox is like, well, what if you guys go independent and we just work with you? They're like, that sounds good.
This is weird.
Pure speculation.
That's
I'm
just
just
weird.
speculating, but I mean, do you have
And again,
do you have a better idea? Because
Like
I
you
think
said,
that's the best
stand
I
on their
got.
own legs.
Yeah,
Go make your own game with your own money.
Well, they
I don't
did.
think
They did.
it's-
Well, they didn't.
The thing is, giving money to a third party studio to make a game for you. I said it before. I think it's fine, and I think it's fine here. It's just weird.
Yeah, it is weird.
That's all.
I don't know. Who knows? Number 12 on the headlines. Sony hopes to entice PC players to PS5 by releasing tentpole games for console first. Sony Interactive Entertainment has high hopes of enticing PC players to PS5 by continuing to release its tentpole single-player games for console first. While its live service games will be released day and date simultaneously on PS5 and PC, console players will continue to receive early access to Sony's narrative-driven titles. Herman Holst and Hideki Nishino, who will be the new joint CEOs of SIE starting 2 days ago on June 1st, discussed this strategy during a PlayStation business briefing on Thursday. By delaying the PC release of sequels like Marvel Spider-Man 2 and God of War Ragnarok, Sony hopes to attract users who have played the earlier games in those series off console to make the jump into PS5 in order to experience them sooner. He says, quote, "Indeed, we are bringing our titles to PC platform, and we have a dual approach here," said Herman Holst. "On the live service side, we are releasing our titles simultaneously, so day and date with PS5 and PC, but with our tentpole titles, our single-player or narrative-driven titles that are the backbone of what PlayStation Studios has delivered in recent years, and in our history, we take a more strategic approach, and we introduce our great franchises to new audiences, and we're finding new audiences that are potentially going to be very interested in playing, for example, sequels on a PlayStation platform." So I want to ask you, Dev, do you think this lasts for them in terms of this strategy where the first party like narrative games that they're really well known for stay, like they don't go day and date with PC?
I think so. I think so. I get why they're doing it. You want to get people onto your console, and I don't see anything wrong with that. And then
I don't either, but I do wonder how well it works. So I guess we'll see. But as Sony as a company pushes for more growth in sales, that might change.
Because I also think, in a way, there's a kind of a boost. If the game is good, there's kind of a boost in that sale. Like, there are people who played it on PS5 who will play it again on PC just because it's coming to PC.
Yeah.
And I can see that being a boost in sales for them. But I also like the idea of games coming day and date, which Xbox does. So I don't think anyone does it better than the other.
Right.
Two different strategies. Xbox is also very... I think it's cool that they're focusing on both consoles, like, you know, but also there's something bad, like, there's a little bit of poison that comes with that drink, and the same thing with PlayStation, you know, pushing people onto PS5 leaves out older consoles, so it's no one's doing it better than the others, two different approaches. I think it's fine, it's working for them, so we'll see.
Yeah,
at least it's coming to PC. I think that's
oh yeah, no, I think that's
like a big thing.
Yeah. Moving on, number 13 on the headlines, we got some layoff news. This time at Intercept Games, the team is going to be laid off in a month.
Really quick to chat. Billy Hatcher. Forrest wants them to be working on Billy Hatcher.
I haven't been seeing anything in the chat.
Really?
Was Forrest been talking this whole time?
Yeah.
Oh, here it is. I'm finally here. Meets all those things, but not expectations. But if it didn't do it for you, then it's a bad showcase.
It's talking about Concord. You didn't like Concord.
Oh, okay. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it was a bad showcase. Bring back Billy Hatcher. I really want Outer Worlds 2 trailer. Me too. I can't wait for that. That's another thing that Obsidian's working on that we could see. It's been a few years, so could happen.
Forgot about that game.
Yeah, that was weird. I don't know why. I had to restart the whole YouTube video on my phone to get the chat up. That was interesting. Anyways, there were layoffs at Intercept. Following cost-cutting measures by Take-Two Interactive, the CEO of the firm, Strauss Zelnick, denied that Intercept Games, the developer behind Kerbal Space Program 2, had closed down. However, he refused to comment on whether Take-Two Interactive would shut down Intercept Game Studios. So they asked him, they were like, "Have you shut down the studio?" And he said, "No, I have not shut that studio down. Yet."
Yeah.
Now, posts on social media have surfaced claiming that the team at Intercept Games will be made redundant as of June 28th of this year. Weeks ago, Bloomberg obtained documentation showing that Take-Two was proposing the closure of the Roll 7 studio, but these notes didn't mention Intercept. But so, yeah. More layoffs.
Well, this is no more.
Spoke too soon. Take-Two is also reportedly planning to either close or sell its entire indie label, Private Division. Private Division was actually the publisher of the first Outer Worlds, if you remember. That's a common Twitch glitch. Guess it happened here too. Oh, okay. Take-Two is looking to sell or shut down its indie label, Private Division, in addition to closing Kerbal Space Program 2 developer, Intercept Games, and Ali World developer, Roll 7. In April, Take-Two said it planned to lay off 5% of its workforce, around 600 people. This was followed by a Bloomberg report, which had seen documentation, as we just talked about, that the other two studios were closing. Furthermore, a report claims that Take-Two wants to offload Private Division either by a sale or closure. IGN claims that employees were told in February that layoffs were imminent. Then, at the end of April, employees of the label were reportedly told by management that Take-Two would no longer support the label, and the staff were laid off. It's claimed that a small team in Private Division to support its remaining announced games including Moon Studios' No Rest for the Wicked, Weta Workshop's Tales of the Shire, and an untitled project from Game Freak. Remember that Game Freak game?
Yeah.
Take-Two recently backed out of deals for projects like from Bloober Team and Ghost Runner developer One More Level. So, hopefully they can find a sale and not close.
Yeah, I agree. I'd rather them sell them the studios and IP.
Yeah.
Rather than close it.
Next up on the headlines, Metal Gear Solid 3 Remake will release in 2025. A new rumor suggests that Metal Gear Solid 3 is going to be released in 2025. The news comes from a reliable data miner and leaker, Bill, who often obtains the majority of information via data mining the back end of websites. As he points out, the findings suggest that the announcement is likely to come soon, and he theorizes it could be within the next 10 days. At the time of this writing, that timing puts it firmly in line with the events surrounding Summer Games Fest, which kicks off June 7th. However, Leaker does state that the reveal could be prior to the show and take place on June 6th. It said that the release date of the game is placeholder at 12/31/2025, which would suggest a 2025 release date rather than the 2024 release window that PlayStation previously gave. So, we'll keep an eye on it, although I do think as an update since this article was written, it won't be at Summer Games Fest.
Okay.
But, yeah. Number 60 on the headlines was just some information about Days Gone. The director of the game said Sony execs were never fans, so there was no sequel for the game. Ahead of the recent State of Play showcase that revealed upcoming games for the PlayStation ecosystem, Jeff Ross, who worked as the game director on Days Gone, made a damning statement. On the subject of Days Gone 2, making an appearance at a PlayStation showcase, Ross explained that Sony executives, like the newly crowned CEO Herman Holst, were never fans, insinuating that's a core reason why a follow-up title was never developed. Days Gone was a solid enough post-apocalyptic title with plenty of meat on the bones, but thanks to the launch that plagued with issues, it drew negative feedback very early on, marring the game considerably. From the veteran team at Bend Studio, Days Gone emerged as something quite new and tasty in the zombie slasher world, presenting players with motorbiking badass Deacon St. John in a world torn apart and ripe for the plucking. In a post published on social media before the showcase, Jeff Ross, one of the senior team members worked on Days Gone, wrote, "A lot of people still ask me if there will ever be a Days Gone sequel, so I submit this post as evidence it will never happen. Sony higher-ups like Herman were never fans, so you won't hear about it at the PlayStation State of Play today or ever."
That sucks.
It does, because I always thought it was a really cool game. I actually picked it up back in January. I saw it on sale. It's in my backlog now. But yeah, I always remember that E3 showing that they had, where it was him running from like the millions of zombies, and just turning around, just like it's like I gotta go. That was always such a cool showing. All right, next up, number 17 on the headlines. Really cool story for me as a fan of the Stronghold series. Stronghold: The Dark Ages has been trademarked by Firefly Studios. A new trademark filed by the studio named Stronghold: The Dark Ages, just like the Doom game. I just realized that.
Yeah, a lot of Dark Ages.
A lot of Dark Ages happening. It's very on par with
the times.
I was going to say. The trademark was first spotted by Respawn First, which was filed on April 8th of this year and is currently in the examination stage. If you thought the Dark Ages sounded familiar, you're right. It's the same as the Doom game, says Insider Gaming. Nonetheless, the filing does tell us that the next Stronghold game is almost certainly to be set in the Dark Ages, which began after the fall of the Western Roman Empire. The next Stronghold game would mark Firefly Studios' first major new release, following the studio's acquisition by Devolver Digital in 2021. Currently, Firefly Studios is focused on post-launch content of Stronghold Definitive Edition, which was released in November and has received very positive reviews on Steam, based on 6,400 reviews at the time of this writing. I love Stronghold, so I'm very happy to see a new entry. Number 18, Remedy Games is possibly teasing some Alan Wake 2 DLC. They rebranded their Twitter account to be Poison Pill Entertainment, with a little tweet saying Poison Pill Entertainment since 1995, Night Spring City. So we might get some Alan Wake 2 DLC announced at maybe the Summer Games Fest.
I can see that.
It'd be great to have a physical release announced alongside it, if they wanted to. I'd probably buy it. Until then, it sits on the wish list on Xbox. Let's see. Made a little mistake with the numbering here. Microsoft's confirming that Black Ops 6 won't require a new tier of Game Pass. Upon launch, Call of Duty Black Ops 6 will be playable for Xbox and PC for Game Pass Ultimate, PC Game Pass, and Game Pass for console members. So this was just, they went out there, they went out and clarified that there's not going to be another tier above Ultimate.
Yeah.
Doesn't mean that there won't be like price changes or maybe shuffling up the tiers, but I don't know.
Yeah, if you call something Ultimate, you probably shouldn't put a tier above it.
Ultimate and then like
Ultimate Plus or
Ultimate.
Yeah, you shouldn't do that.
I don't know. That would be pretty fun.
No, don't do that. I think that was one of the hindrances of PlayStation. It had so many tiers, and it was like, what? I don't understand.
Yeah, I still kind of don't understand. I have it.
Yeah, it's
like PlayStation Plus, Premium, Diamond, Platinum.
Yeah, don't do that. You got Ultimate, so that's going to be your highest tier.
Yeah.
You got to change the price. It sucks, but
yeah, just do that.
Yeah.
Like you can rename the tiers below Ultimate.
Yeah.
But don't. Yeah, it's Ultimate.
Ultimate should include
that. That's what it is.
Yeah.
Next up, Nintendo's codename Spiral may be Splatoon 4. According to a new post on Twitter from reliable leaker MBKKSSTPHZ5.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that guy. Nintendo may have the next Splatoon project in the works under codename Spiral. The leaker explains that after researching the data I have received in the last month, the project is very likely the next Splatoon installment. The leaker had no further details about the game, though. Notably, the leaker also mentioned that they will have to be careful now with Nintendo information. So
they're after me.
So they may not offer many more updates about Spiral. It's like, guys, I know too much. There's been a car outside of my apartment for the last 3 days.
They've been listening.
He's like knocking the walls, like making sure there's no wires. This leaker has reported on a variety of key leaks, such as Sega's upcoming projects for Jet Set Radio and Crazy Taxi. Recently, the leaker also supported claims about a potential Sonic Frontier sequel. So, we are in Direct season, by the way. Nintendo said we're going to get a Nintendo Direct during June. We're here.
That's exciting.
That would be crazy if tomorrow. It's just like...
Yeah, we never know.
See you tomorrow. See you Thursday.
It's usually Thursdays, right? Tuesdays or Thursdays?
Yeah, or Wednesdays. It's usually middle of the week type things. All right, number 20 on the headlines. Xbox, very low-key, very subtly. People are learning today. They might be changing their game art, or their cover art.
I actually didn't know this.
Yeah, so this is Clock Tower Rewind, which is coming from Limited Run Games. A game that I might pick up. I don't know yet. But so that's what the old Xbox logo looked like. And that's the new one.
Okay, nothing major.
A lot more simple. It also, this is the Kenna, which is very similar. I actually like this as opposed to this. I think you just get rid of that white. It's just like, it looks way cleaner, way better. I know that it's very stimulating for people that are not watching.
Yeah, just look it up. That's your homework.
It looks a lot better.
Yeah.
It was a little thing to sneak in here at the end. Until two other things came out right before we went live. Number 21 on the headlines. Jeff Keighley's E3 is going to suck this year. No, I mean, it might not suck, but it's going to be largely focused on announced games coming this year. According to Jeff Keighley, who discussed plans during a Q&A recently on Twitch, he said, quote, "One of the things you'll see with this show this week is we really tried to program some unexpected things from smaller teams and independent studios into the show as well, alongside some big blockbuster games and franchises that you will see in the show. I think it's going to be generally a little bit quieter this summer in terms of crazy new announcements and shocking surprises and things like that. There will definitely be new announcements, but the show is largely focused on, I think, existing games that have new updates for fans, just in terms of level setting," he added later in the stream. The Game Awards has usually a lot of big surprises and new reveals. This show is it's largely focused on announced stuff. There are absolutely new game announcements throughout the show, but just a level set. It's not all brand new stuff. I don't know why they had that twice. So I think we've disagreed on this. I think the Summer Games Fest has actually been really underwhelming for the last few years. I don't think it's been very good. So for me, this is just kind of like, oh, so if I didn't like last year, I would have to assume that this year will be a lot less
Yeah.
impressive.
Like, my expectations for it are lower, so that's why I don't mind it. To me, Summer's Games Fest feels like showing up to the movie early and watching the trailers before you watch the movie.
I guess. Yeah, but if you don't know all the trailers, like, that's the whole excitement. It's like, oh, wow, look at this movie I didn't know existed until
Yeah,
now.
but you go there for the movie.
I guess.
You know?
No.
You keep you keep comparing it to E3, but like, what part of E3 is the showcase? You know what I mean?
Yeah, I know. It's nowhere near as good as
thing.
E3. It's nowhere near as good as E3.
In what way? E3 never had a showcase. That's the thing that you keep
E3 had showcases
of other companies, and those
of all the companies that
Yeah,
were part of
that's
the
still
E3
happening.
ESA.
Yeah, but E3 never had its own showcase. There was never a E3 showcase. Summer's Games Fest. Is
Actually, the
its own
one year they
showcase.
did do a
The
E3
one year.
showcase.
I don't even know what year you're
It
talking
was
about.
the last year. It was the last year. The last year they did. Remember we got Wingstop and we sat around and watched for 3 days straight?
Did we?
Yeah, we got... Wow.
No, I don't.
We got Wingstop.
What games? What?
I don't remember. I just remember we had Wingstop. It was good Wingstop.
It's just its own thing. My expectations for it are lower, so I just go there and enjoy it for what it is.
What's up, Jeff? Yeah, no. We have it on in front of us while we're talking. It's a great game.
Hey.
All right, let's move on to our last headline of the evening. Some good news. We're going to end on some good news. Multiple developers from the now closed Arcane Austin studio were moved to other Bethesda studios, such as Bethesda Game Studios and ZeniMax Online. This was tweeted from Clobrill, and it's just kind of, he also includes like a bunch of screenshots from like LinkedIn posts and, other things where it's a bunch of the developers saying like, hey, I got moved to this studio. I'm at, So it was nice to see Xbox, even though they closed the studio, brought in some developers. So I think that's it doesn't make up for everything that happened, but it's a nice little, hey, they brought back who they could. So I thought that was nice. All right, and that is it for the headlines here tonight. Let's dive into the game releases for the week of June 3rd. Very, very tame week this week. Not a lot going on. Coming out tomorrow, Destiny 2 The Final Shape comes out on PS5, Xbox Series, PS4, Xbox One, and PC. Killer Clowns from Outer Space, the game, comes out on PS5, Xbox Series, and PC. Star Wars Hunters comes out on Switch, iOS, and Android on June 4th, tomorrow as well. And then June 6th, Assassin's Creed Mirage on iOS. So I'll start this week. My pick of the week is going to be Killer Clowns from Outer Space, the game. Assassin's Creed Mirage is cool. You should go play it. Star Wars Hunters is a pretty fun mobile game. It's like a mobile game. I played it like a few years ago, I think.
Okay.
I think. It might not even be what I think it is. So because I don't know exactly what it is, I can't in good conscience pick it. But so I think Killer Clowns from Outer Space looks really cool. So, I mean, I won't be picking it up, but for the sake of the show where we pick a game,
Yeah.
that's my pick for the week. What is your pick for the week, I wonder?
I'll pick Destiny.
Okay.
I think it's the final big expansion for the game that they're planning. I've seen good stuff about it so far.
Yeah, before Bungie closes down.
Probably, yeah.
Oh, it's so sad.
Yeah.
Oh, man. All right, well, that's our picks for the week. You finished Hellblade?
Yeah, I finished Hellblade. I liked it.
You liked
I
it?
think we talked about it before. I did like the first game more. However, there's a section in the game that I liked above everything else, and that was
The same section I said.
Yeah, the cave section.
God, it's so
It's
good.
really good. Yeah.
I loved it so much.
Yeah, that whole chapter. Also, for the collectibles, so they give you the faces.
Yeah, the face. That was what I was. That's
yeah,
what
that
I.
was the one that you were talking.
I couldn't.
About.
You didn't want to know.
So I found the first one they give you. Like you walk near it and the voices are like, "Hey, what's that?" Like, and you see the face.
So you know what's funny? Because of where I was when it happened.
Yeah.
I looked around, but I didn't see the face because
Okay.
my vision was obstructed.
Okay.
So I didn't see it on the. That's why I said on the first playthrough, like I didn't pick up a single face.
Yeah, I got the first one, and then I missed the 3 after that, and then I got the rest for the game. So like.
Really?
Yeah, I was like.
Some of them were like really well
Some
hidden.
of them were really hard. Yeah, so I had to go back. They do chapter select, and I went back and I got the 3.
So you got all the collectibles for both of them?
For both,
collectibles?
yeah. I went back
Okay.
and got both because I had also missed one for the totem thing.
Okay.
But yeah, that was cool. I like that. But no, I like the game. They're making a third one. We just found out, right? They're working on a third one. That's
Yeah,
the
it was
next
pretty much
title.
it was pretty much confirmed.
Yeah, so when it comes out, I'm gonna play it. I like their style of game. I wish they applied it to something else other than Senua. Because I think the Senua story is. I don't want them to drown out Senua. I don't want it to be too much.
I'm okay with them making a third. Real quick, I'm going to jump over to the chat. Jeff's asking, is this a Killer Clowns from Outer Space game?
Yeah.
Yes, it is. It comes out tomorrow, and it's actually my pick for the week. This week.
Plays like it plays like those asymmetric horror games,
like the Friday the 13th kind of
Friday
game.
the 13th,
yeah,
those kind where there's one villain and a bunch of heroes and they're trying to stop the villain. So
yeah, and it's good for them because it's a pretty light week this week.
It also looks
outside
like a
of
good
Destiny.
game.
Yeah, well, that's why I picked it. I think it looks good. So yeah, but yeah, that's good that you liked Hellblade 2. I'm excited for Hellblade 3 and Project Mara to see what else Ninja Theory's working on. Right now, I'm currently playing Paper Mario: The Thousand Year Door.
Okay, I went back to.
I love it.
Yeah, you like it?
I love it so much. It's my favorite game. It's one of my favorite games of all time, and it's updated. And it's just like the music is redone, like the graphics are redone. Everything about it is just great. So I'm super happy with it.
I went back to Ghostwire Tokyo. I want to finish out that game and then move on to something next.
Okay. Jeff says this movie was from Troma Studios in the 80s, and it's amazing. They made the Toxic Avenger movies. Have we seen the movie? I personally have not seen the movie, but I've heard of it.
I think it's on Amazon Prime, and I just haven't seen it.
Yeah.
I haven't had a reason to see it. Maybe I should.
I mean, game seems cool. I think I've seen like scenes from the movie, like for sure.
It's definitely a cult classic type of movie.
Yeah. But yeah, so yeah, I'm playing Paper Mario. I'm gonna move on to that. I'm gonna hopefully clear it up in time for Octopath Traveler 2.
Yeah, that's your game for the whole month.
You hate that. You hate that I'm going back
July,
in. You
yeah.
really hate that I'm going back. I love that game though.
Yeah, you love it that much. Just play differently. Do a different class. Switch it up.
So here's the problem, right? Here's why I can't so you can use all the characters,
Yeah.
and I cycle through them. So
Yeah.
for me, variety is like I play variety regardless. But the thing about Octopath is you get to choose who you start with, and that first character you choose has to stay in your party until you basically beat the game.
Okay. And
And-
you know who you want to choose for that.
So the problem is like I always want to do something different, but I always end up choosing the Scholar, and the reason for that is the Scholar has a special ability where you get to see you can analyze your opponents for their weaknesses and their HP counts.
Okay.
And it's the
Very
only
useful.
way. It's very useful. It's the only way to see how much health they have.
Okay.
Is to use the Scholar. So that's why, like, in the first game, I went with the Scholar because it was recommended. In the second game, I went with the Scholar because I knew from the first game that I wanted to play with the Scholar first.
I get it.
So that's how I'm going to play it because it's just too useful to not have. Plus, you get to cycle. I cycle the other 3 characters out with the 7 that are available. So.
Well, hopefully you don't take all, this seems like a game you're going to take. It's going to be your July game. But we'll see.
I'll try not to, But anyways, that's going to do it for us here on the Game Room Podcast. This has been episode 67.
This game, he says this movie is crazy. I'm looking at this gameplay, and it's definitely crazy. He just, scaled up to a giant and stepped on a woman, and that's how he killed her.
It is pretty crazy.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, check it out. I guess it's on Steam. What did I say it was on? I said it was.
I think it's all.
It's on PS5, Xbox Series, and PC.
Yeah.
So yeah. Check it out. But again, this has been episode 67 of the Game Room Podcast. Make sure you like, subscribe, check out our other videos. As a program note, just a reminder, we will be doing a live stream on Sunday for the Xbox Games Showcase. It's going to be an awesome time. We're going to get a lot of great announcements. I'm very excited.
I think Forrest might be here.
I'm expecting Forrest to be here.
Ty was supposed to be on tonight. I couldn't get it to work. I'm going to try to get Ty on Sunday. We'll see how that goes.
Okay.
So.
Yeah, so in the meantime, later, Jeff,
Jeff.
follow us on Twitter. Follow me on Twitter in the description below.
Yeah.
You might have to copy and paste. I think Devro's still working on the hyperlinks.
Yeah, you got to verify. I'm working.
And join the Discord, which hopefully that works in the description. Is that another thing we have to copy?
All links. Yeah, all links. We're not trusted yet. They don't trust us.
Okay, yeah, Google doesn't trust us, which is weird. But anyways, we'll see you guys on Sunday.
playing Octopath.
No.